Good morning. It's 7:04 on this Friday, February 9th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome here on a Friday morning. It's raining, temperature around 50 degrees, 51. MJ, what are you saying this morning? She's not going to tell me what she's saying. It's around 50 degrees. It's pleasant out there, a little light rain. Everything's okay. It's going to be a fantastic Friday. Well, of course, we're on the air each Friday at this time for Wilson Bank and Trust, and our whole first half hour is going to be devoted to the bank this morning because of a big event that starts this afternoon. And let me tell everybody that'll be tuning in to hear Senator Pody. Just stay with us. He'll be on the second half today. Well, let me introduce, let's say, ladies first this morning. Kaylin Dennis is with us. Kaylin, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
And it is nice to have you. What is your title at the bank?
I am the Vice President of Marketing and Communications.
All right. And we have our old reliable Kurt Baker with us this morning. I don't know whether this is a new title for you or not, but anyway, Kurt is Senior Vice President and Regional President. That's an impressive title.
That is.
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, Coleman. Glad to be here.
It is nice to have you as always.
Yes, sir.
Well, this is a big event. 31st one, right?
31st, unless I got that number wrong, Kaylin. It seems like
that's right.
Yeah, it seems probably about like our 50th that we've worked, but yep, it's the bank's 31st.
And it all starts, 4 o'clock today?
It does, 4 to 8 today.
All right, and tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we'll be there from 9 to 5. Doors will be open at 9. As always, it's at the Farm Bureau Expo Center located out on 945 East Padua Parkway here in Lebanon.
All right. Well, Kaylin, what is your responsibility in all of this?
Well, our department works closely with Kurt and his team to pull off the logistics for the event. So I work very closely. My team has been out there all week making sure all the vendor booths get set up and everybody's taken care of. So it's going to be a big one. We always joke it's the biggest one, but this one really is.
Well, before we get too into this, tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been here, I think, to do the bank commercial one time before, so this is pretty much your second time to be on Coleman and Company, at least for the bank. But tell us about your experience, how long you've been there, and so on.
I've been with the bank for coming up on 5 years now, which is hard to believe, but it's been a great experience. And like I said, I get to work really closely with these events, and in marketing, we get to work with all the different offices, all the markets and departments. So it's a neat role to be in.
What did you do before the last 5 years?
So my career has been in communications, business development. I worked most recently with a pretty large law firm downtown doing business development, but came to the bank and have been working with the commercial team, and then that kind of led into marketing. And here we are.
What brought you here, if I may ask?
To Lebanon?
Yeah, to the bank here.
Well, I was born and raised in Lebanon,
Yeah.
so, fate brought me back as much as I tried to resist over the years. But my family, my kids go to school here now. We spend a lot of time in Lebanon, so, just back home.
All right. And Kurt, you've been around a little longer, but I think you came by way of Gallatin, if my memory is right.
I did. Gallatin, came to Cumberland University over here, played a little football under Coach Herschel Moore, and spent 4.5 years at Cumberland, and just decided I loved Lebanon, and it loved me back, so I stayed.
Well, you've had and you've moved up quite a bit too. You must be doing something right.
I have. They just can't get rid of me, so they keep finding new titles and new roles and responsibilities. But like Kaylin, it's been a great experience, great partnership with the bank. And, speaking of Kaylin, she is kind of working away from Wilson County, and she's a hometown girl, a lot like our CEO, John McDermott, was working in Chattanooga and came back home, and now he's running the bank. So a lot of people have similar stories like that.
Why do we have what we're going to be having, this expo?
Yeah, it's really, the idea started out that, number one, it's a good community event. It's just something else going on in town. We have Lebanon, being from Gallatin and another community, Lebanon and Wilson County specifically is very blessed to have so many great community events that are free to the public. But really, it started as a give back to our customers, the ones that are in construction, the ones that are in home remodeling, and then it just grew into something bigger with landscaping and all the different trades that if you're looking at remodeling or building a pool at the house, it's all there under one roof.
Well, this is a big one, maybe the biggest. You're going to have a lot of vendors. Are you, Kaylin, partly responsible or mostly responsible for the vendors that you have?
Yeah, it's a team effort. Like Kurt mentioned, it's a lot of customers, but there's opportunity for different businesses around town who might not have a relationship with the bank, and we're just as happy to have them. And it's our company was built with small businesses, and the growth of small businesses, we've grown alongside them. So this is really an opportunity to highlight them, give them an opportunity to make connections, and kind of bring people together all for the same purpose.
All right, now, can you sort of describe the setting? It's going to be at the Farm Bureau Expo. You got that whole building or just a part of it, and what's it going to look like when you go in there?
We have got the whole building or the whole expo facility, so it'll be wall-to-wall with vendors. We have over 100. I don't have that exact number because it was still...
I think it was 131 last count, somewhere in that,
Kurt's
that
closer
range.
to that, yeah.
Yeah.
But that sounds right. Yes,
Yeah.
so... like I said, Laura Smith on our team, she does a great job making sure we can accommodate as many people as possible, and we sold out. We don't have any available spaces and haven't for a while now.
So you've got just about anything that pertains to building or gardening or lawn care, all this.
Home
That's right,
decor,
yeah.
furniture, the whole gamut.
There'll be
And-
food vendors too, so, take a break.
They're probably from all over Middle Tennessee, if not even farther away.
That's right. Mhm.
Yeah, it's no secret, when you go out there to sign up to be a vendor, there's pricing for customers and there's pricing for non-customers. And we pulled the list this year just to check out our non-customers. And as Kaylin talked about, there's plenty of opportunity with those businesses for us to connect during the show. And the list this year for non-customers was fairly lengthy. So we look forward to having conversations with them.
Well, let me ask this, because you're having it this afternoon, 4 to 8.
That's correct.
Okay, 4 hours today. Tomorrow from 9 to 4.
To 5.
9 to 5.
9 to 5.
All right. So you, what I'm getting at, is it pretty much the same thing both days? If you go today, will you miss something tomorrow? If you go tomorrow, will you have missed something today?
I would say the only thing that is a little bit different, we have sponsors, some of our vendors who donate different items, and so they'll be giving them out at different points throughout the show. We also have the ability to enter to win some things for the first. As much as our supplies last, we have a giveaway item for everybody. So there is some advantage to coming on the earlier side, because we do typically run out of those, and we have people that are waiting at the door when the doors open. So I would say get there while you can, because all of the vendors are going to have giveaways and items for sale, and when they're gone, they're gone.
If you wait till 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon, you could miss out on it.
You
You
could, for
could.
sure.
You definitely
Yes.
could.
All right, I think we understand that. But such a big variety, and with 131 vendors, that is a lot. That may be as many or more than you've ever had. I don't know.
We actually have a waiting list this year, a lengthy waiting list for it, and I don't think we're going to get too much into it. During 2020, during COVID, we went to a virtual event. And, man, I hope we never have to do a virtual event again at the bank, because we're not into virtual events. But in 2021, we started separating it out a little bit, which condensed the number of vendors that we could have. And this year, being 2024, we were able to open back that space up for our waiting list and put people inside
And
that space.
I understand there are a lot of things to register for. Now, maybe every vendor doesn't have a drawing, but a lot of them do. There's a lot of things to possibly win, and even the bank is involved in that. You're giving something away, aren't you?
We are. We have exclusive giveaways and prizes at the event. As Kaylin said, we will be doing free giveaways while supplies last.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to announce exactly what it is just yet.
Tease it if you want to.
But it's probably one of the biggest conversations the Expo committee has while putting this together is, what is our giveaway going to be this year? So I'm super excited about it, because I don't have one. So if we have 500 of them, I promise there's only $4.99 to give away, because I'm getting my hands on one. But on top of that, we also have a Blackstone grill. Blackstones are very hot right now. I'm in the market for one myself. And then a $250 gift card sponsored by MasterCard as well that we'll be giving away at the show.
So, and a lot of other vendors will have things that you can register for.
I
So
know a
there
leaf
will be-
blower, a solo stove, so they got some good stuff.
Yeah. So some great things there, plus a lot of giveaways that are totally free. So
There are.
and it's a free event, and it's free parking, so you can come and go as you please.
Dodge the rain this
is
weekend,
really
yeah.
anything to spend money on. What's that? Food?
There's food. There are food vendors there. Our concession vendors this year are Pen Pig Barbecue, Salvo's Pizza, and Traveling Tom's Coffee. So if it gets a little bit later on Saturday, about 3 or 4, and you need to pick me up, Traveling Tom's will be there.
Okay. Well, all of this, and again, it's starting today, 4 o'clock to 8, and tomorrow from 9 to 5 to Wilson County Farm Bureau Expo out to Fairgrounds. And again, it's free admission, free parking, and it's all made possible by Wilson Bank and Trust. So, okay, we're going to take a break right here, and more coming up on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford. Get a battery installed in most vehicles, $149.95. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's pretty heavy now as we check it out live again over here on 24 westbound, coming out of Rutherford County, Murfreesboro, headed up to Laverne, Smyrna, into Davidson County. Still holding up 65 southbound through Millersville. That's going to get busier here in the next few minutes. Same thing out there in the Mount Juliet area. Some radar earlier out there on I-40 and parts of Wilson and Smith County. Prince's Hot Chicken's got you covered this weekend for the big game. Check out that awesome menu at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's tax time, and Cars Unlimited Tax Service is locally owned and has 33 years of experience in preparing taxes. They do upfront loans of $250 to $6,000. They're also an authorized IRS e-file provider. Call 615-449-2955 or stop by 1006 West Main Street in Lebanon. Cars Unlimited Tax Service stands ready to help you prepare your taxes.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is in a new location, 1746 West Main in Lebanon, across from Sports Village. Gregory Dental Group offers cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs.
No insurance? No problem. Call about the discount plan. Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322.
We continue, remind everybody, our program today featuring Wilson Bank and Trust. They're our advertiser on Friday, but when we have this expo and when we have Oktoberfest, they get some extra time for publicity's sake, and that's what we're doing today, and Senator Pody will be on the second half this morning. But we do have Kaylin Dennis here, and Kaylin has been part of the bank for 5 years, but there's something else that she's going to be part of coming up here shortly, and that's the Kiwanis roast, and your father, Sam Hatcher, is going to be roasted. You're one of the roastees, right?
I am. I don't know why he asked my sister and myself to do that, but, you know, he's in for a treat.
Surely you're not going to take it light on him either.
No.
But you're ready for it.
I'm ready for it, yeah.
Well,
Is the question.
it no doubt is going to be a great evening, and I believe that's always the last Tuesday in March. I think that's right.
About, yep.
And anyway, I guess tickets are still available, and it will be at the Capitol Theater, but a great night. Well, back to our, what is the official name of this event? I don't have a flyer in front of me this morning.
The Southern Home and Garden Expo.
Southern Home and Garden Expo, and it's presented by Wilson Bank and Trust. This is the 31st edition, and it starts this afternoon at 4. Now, we've got about 12 minutes to finish talking about that this morning, and I know we haven't told it all, but what else do we need to tell? What do you want to say, Kaylin?
I definitely want to highlight, for the second year now, we have our special guests that are going to join us, Brooke and Bryce Gillum from the hit television show Making Modern with Brooke and Bryce, and that is featured on the Magnolia Network. So anyone who is no stranger to the home renovation space, that network was founded and built by Chip and Joanna Gaines. So that show can be seen on that network, Discovery Plus. It streams on Max. But interesting fact, Bryce is actually from Lebanon. So he went to Lebanon High School and is a hometown boy. So we're really, really happy that he's joining us for this event.
Right. Well, do people seek autographs in this situation, and is it okay to ask them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, that's what they're here.
To take time to do that.
Yes.
Maybe even be glad you're asked.
Absolutely. There were several people who came last year just to see them, and I got to see some interesting interactions, neat little interactions with kids who were aspiring to be in home renovation and just were really excited to meet them, and they are thrilled to to do that. So happy to have them.
All right, that's a plus for the whole event. How long are they going to be there?
They will be there tonight for the majority of the time from 4 to 8, and then tomorrow from 9 to noon-ish. So stop by definitely during that time if you want to meet them.
Okay. All right. Well, again, the bank has the entire Farm Bureau Expo Center there, and you're spread out, no doubt. All of it is covered. It's something take a while just to see everything.
Absolutely.
It does. And I Kaylin's already mentioned Laura Smith. I think, major kudos to her and the work that she does on this event and all the events that the bank really puts on. She's in charge of basically taking in the vendors, placing them in there, and you should see her poster board with all the Post-it notes, and she's got a rhyme and a reason of madness. I know Kevin Sanders, that serves on the committee as well, kind of looks at us like, man, is there a way that we can digitize this thing? But we don't want to mess with Laura's process because she has it down to a T. And
moving those Post-its around.
Yep. So major kudos to her for.
Laura has been here a few times to represent the bank on these occasions, and she is quite an impressive person, really.
She is. She is. That military background certainly serves her well in her professional career.
All right, but again, this has such a really a universal appeal because there's so many areas that are covered. It may just be one thing you're interested in, but there's dozens of reasons, dozens of different type things that you can see or might be interested in.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you point that out because I can been at the bank for 19 years, and I said this feels like my 50th one that I've worked. I still remember when it was over in the A.G. Ward Ag building back behind the Expo Center, and you imagine how small that space was. And I think at one time that was probably one of the larger spaces that you could host an event in Lebanon. And then we moved it over to the mill for several years. And then obviously we're blessed to have this wonderful Expo Center here in Wilson County that we can utilize. And it's really allowed us to expand the show and think outside the box about what the public wants. Right now, obviously, interest rates are fairly high. Going through COVID, a lot of people chose not to sell their homes or buy new homes. They chose to renovate. So originally the show started off as more of a construction type show. And then it's evolved over time into renovations, remodels. And then we moved outside the home. Outdoor living spaces are popular these days. Pools. People just don't want to go on vacation. They want to stay at their home. So it's allowed us to expand the show. I would say probably the most interesting vendor that we've ever had, and I'm sorry that I can't remember the actual business's name, but if you're having mold problems, they were showing videos of how they can come into your yard and setting off detonating devices and blowing these moles out of your yard. I still remember there's like 30 people around watching the TV of moles getting blown up. So just really anything on your property there at home to make it a better place for you and your family, we want it under that roof.
Well, those moles, the mold problem is pretty much a universal one. I think there's hardly anybody that hadn't seen a mole or at least seen the results of them being in the yard at some time in their life, if they've been around any time at all. Kaylin, you got anything else you want to mention here?
Well, the only other thing I have is that, of course, the bank will be running some event-specific specials.
Right. And I was thinking of that a minute ago and was going to mention it then, and it slipped me. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a good thing too.
Yes, absolutely. And we will have deposit specials, so some special money market offers and certificates of deposit. Of course, like Kurt mentioned, when it gets into the renovation space, we'll have some loans. I'll let Kurt maybe speak a little bit more to that. But, we're a member FDIC, equal housing lender, and we will be ready to talk to you about whatever your needs are.
One of the things about that, you don't reveal exactly how good it is on the radio. You have to come and find out.
You have to come to the show to find out. But I can tell you, I still remember exactly where I was sitting, and I think it was probably about 7:45 in the morning when I learned of the rates that we're going to be rolling out for this expo on the borrowing, if you're looking at borrowing money. And I kind of scratched my head. I was like, man, that's the lowest borrowing rate that I've seen in quite some time. So I will tell you, it will benefit you to show up to the show, speak to one of our lending specialists there. We have plenty of them around, whether it's a home equity line of credit, whether you're looking at buying a home, building a new home, it doesn't matter. We're going to have some of the better rates in the market on that.
And what do you have to do? How much do you have to obligate yourself to get that? And you have to be there, obviously.
You do have to be there.
This afternoon or tomorrow.
Yes, sir. And we've always utilized this show bank-wide. Of course, this show speaks to really around the Nashville metro area, specifically in Wilson County. But obviously, we serve a lot of other areas in Tennessee, specifically Middle Tennessee. But we use this show to roll out our special rates bank-wide for this. So this is a kind of a kickoff to our lending season. And today's where we're going to roll out the rates at the Expo.
All right. Well, again, if you joined us late, Senator Pody will be on part 2 this morning, but we're talking about the Southern
Home and Garden Expo.
Southern Home and Garden Expo, the 31st edition, put on by Wilson Bank and Trust. I think the name changed a little bit.
It went from, I still put on my files every year. This year it says 2024 Construction Expo. That's what I remember it as, but it is the Southern Home and Garden Expo now.
And it starts at 4 o'clock today at the Farm Bureau Expo Center out at the fairgrounds, and will go till 8 today.
That's right.
Will.
And then tomorrow, starting at 9 and going to 5. And plenty, 131 vendors. But let's talk food again, because people, if you stay any length of time, you're going to want something to drink. You're probably going to stay a little longer and want something to eat as well.
Absolutely. Like I said, Pin Pig Barbecue will be there, Salvo's Pizza, and Traveling Tom's Coffee. That's something that really we've never had before. Maybe we had a popcorn vendor back 10 years ago, but the Expo Center has the opportunity for a lot of food vendors and food trucks to be there that day.
Well, it's well attended, and I was just thinking we're probably going to have some inclement weather here, but that might be to your advantage, really. I mean, what else can you do?
Bring your families. There's a little something for everybody. So.
Yep, there's workshops for the kids, and I believe we have the Home Depot packets. If you go into Home Depot on a Saturday morning, you can hear all the banging where kids are building birdhouses or little train cars or something like that. We will have those kits out there this year for the children to take home with them to put together.
Well, I guess it's kind of like we used to say about the Wilson County Fair, bigger and better every year.
That's right.
It is. We actually used to have a clicker. I think we still do the clicker, but it's really hard to kind of capture everybody that comes into the event. But we're expecting over 3,000 people. Last year was probably one of our better attended shows, and typically when the weather's not so great, if it's cold and windy or rainy like we're expecting this weekend, the numbers go up at that point. Typically if it's a 65-degree sunny afternoon, attendance going to be a little bit down because people want to spend the weekend outside.
Well, I guess attendance would probably be a little bit less if it was Sunday afternoon because of the Super Bowl.
That's right.
I remember the days where the expo was actually on Saturday and Sunday at one time, and then we saw that Sunday attendance numbers were a little down, and of course it was always on Super Bowl Sunday, so everybody's fighting to get home to watch the big game. So Friday night and all day Saturday tends to work out in our favor.
We've got 2 or 3 minutes here. Kaylin, you big football fan necessarily?
Well, I will have to admit I graduated from Ole Miss, so I am a big football fan, but I'm in the minority around the bank in terms of who I'm rooting for, and especially with my coach now. There's some bad blood between us and UT. Yeah.
She brought the coach up.
I was thinking more specifically of the game Sunday evening, the San Francisco and Kansas City. You got a favorite there?
I really don't, but I do love a Super Bowl party. So we do have some friends that are getting together to watch the big game. My kids are excited, and of course pulling for Travis Kelce. They're really invested in that love story. So I guess I'll go Chiefs for my kids.
What about you, Kurt?
Man, I think the 49ers are going to be tough to beat, but then again, when Patrick Mahomes lines up on the other side of the ball, he doesn't lose often when he gets a chance in the playoffs.
They defending Super Bowl champs?
They are.
I think,
yeah, they are.
That doesn't happen too often that you win it 2 years in a row. But and I read yesterday, I don't know whether that stays true or not, but that San Francisco was a 2-point favorite. It ought to be a good game.
They are. I think, around my household, Kaylin mentioned her family and stuff. My wife is super excited about the halftime show. Usher will be doing the concert this year. She's a huge Usher fan. I got to say good morning to her. I love you. She was putting her makeup on as I rush out of the house. And then obviously want to say hi to my son and daughter, Aniston and Colt. Aniston is also very infatuated with the love story of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. She didn't even know, she didn't like football before Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift And then good morning, Colt. He got his first 2 points last night in a big basketball game, so super excited for him as well.
All right. Well, we've got a minute to kind of close it out here this morning. We've been talking with Kaylin Dennis and Kurt Baker this morning from Wilson Bank and Trust. And as we said, they've had the whole first half this morning to promote the Southern
Home and Garden Expo.
And Garden Expo. Southern Home and Garden Expo. Starts at 4 today out at the Farm Bureau Expo Center. You've got the whole facility there, and it'll go till 8. A lot of things to register for, a lot of bank specials and a lot of other specials. And then tomorrow from 9 until 5 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
And the 31st edition. So it has been nice to have both of you here to talk about it this morning. I think we've covered just about all of it. And certainly everybody is invited. Some bank specials that you'll find out tomorrow as well. A lot to register for. And you're hoping to have more than 3,000 people this year, right?
I believe we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Kaylin, you have the last word. You make it quick.
Well, I just appreciate you having us. So we're excited to kick off the event tonight at 4, and we'll see you there.
All right. Thank you very much. And that is part one of Coleman and Company, and presented by Wilson Bank and Trust, member FDIC. Excellence in banking since 1987. Stay with us for more here on FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota, they'll help you rent the right tool for the job. The Kubota Orange Rental Program makes it easy to rent the right equipment. Stop by Absolute Kubota, check out the U35 excavator or the SBL 75 compact track loader. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's pretty heavy now on 24 westbound coming out of Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. As you come through Laverne, Smyrna, it's just that time of the morning for it to get heavy on 24 westbound up by Bell Road. I can see it slowing down just a bit on 65 south through Millersville. That's starting to get a little bit heavy through that section of Sumner County. Same thing on Vietnam Vets westbound at Conference Drive, headed towards 65. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Middle Tennessee. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. Check them out at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Join us at the 2024 Southern Home and Garden Expo, presented by Wilson Bank and Trust. Take your home to the next level by connecting with local vendors, exploring new products, and meeting our experienced lenders who can help bring your vision to life. Visit the Southern Home and Garden Expo at the Farm Bureau Expo Center in Lebanon on Friday and Saturday, February 9th and 10th. There will be exclusive prizes and giveaways, so don't miss out. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We do have a 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms possible, mainly later this afternoon into this evening and through the weekend. We'll see cloudy skies throughout the day, high of 62. South winds could gust up to 20 miles per hour at times today. Showers and storms continue into the overnight, low down to 56 with gusty winds continuing. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. Let's look at your forecast. I'm Stormy Clausen.
We welcome you to part two of Coleman Company. It is a Friday morning, a little rain out there, but time to welcome the C&D team. And that team, we got a team of one today.
Yes, we do. Good morning. How are you?
Medina Hemmentoller. Miss Medina is
Yes.
with us this morning, and thank you for being here. And, of course, representing the C&D team of Exit Rocky Top Realty, 1330 West Main in Lebanon. Great people, great service people you can trust.
That's right.
All right. What you got?
Right. Well, I wanted to kind of piggyback back on Kurt Baker, what he was talking about, the Home and Garden Expo. You know, and I know Mike has said it before, that whenever they started it back in 1993 or 95, one or the other, Mike was one of the first booths that was there, and he continued that all the way through his whenever he was building custom homes, all the way to the remodeling part. And then when he officially retired, then he didn't do that anymore. But it's a great event. If you're looking to remodel, if you're looking to add on to your home, if you're looking to just do enhancements at your home or around your home, it's a great place to go and meet a lot of vendors and people that can do a really good job for you. So I would encourage anybody that's looking for anything to do with their home, even if you're getting it ready to put on the market, go to the home show and you can see different things that you can do to get ready, that things that you may not have even thought of.
I take it you don't have a booth there now.
Don't have a booth
but
there.
But you're still a big exponent of what they're doing.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and it's grown over leaps and bounds, and he was talking about having it at the fairgrounds at the Ag building.
Mm-hmm.
We remember that as well, and we remember decorating and build. I mean, Mike would build a booth, and he was in
Mike.
construction, so he would build a booth bigger and better, and everything. So every year it was fun. It was a lot of work, but it was fun, and seeing the people come through. Thousands of people coming through.
Yeah.
And it was always fun just to see people too, and our past customers and new customers. So if you have a chance, go by there today and tomorrow and get some ideas. But while we're talking about homes, we've been talking about that spring is right around the corner, and thank goodness the groundhog did not see his shadow. Thank goodness.
You really believe in that?
No, but hey, I'll just take it this time because it was on my side.
All right. I hear you.
But he didn't see his shadow, so we are really looking forward to the spring. And so we've gotten more phone calls here in the last 3 or 4 weeks because, hey, it's getting spring, the sun is shining. And whenever the sun shines, people get out more.
Yeah.
And they like to look at their house and say, you know what, we need to do this or that, or we need to move because I don't want to do this anymore, or we need to move because we need a bigger place. And there's always a reason for someone to move, whether it's personal, whether it's financial, or whether it's the job or whatever, family reasons or whatever. But it's been really getting a lot of busy. And I had told you that we had appointments set up to see houses and everything. Well, we've got 3 coming soon, and they are getting ready. And so by the 1st of March, they will be ready for the market. But if just hang on, if you're still looking, keep looking, and there's more inventory going to be coming on the market. And these will range anywhere from $599 all the way up to almost $1 million. Mm-hmm. So, you have a big range. And then, of course, the houses that are on the market now, they're wanting to sell. Yeah. They are ready for a buyer. So give us a call, and we'll be glad to help you with any of our listings, or even if our sign is not in the yard, give us a call. We'll be glad to represent you.
That number is 615-443-3130. Somebody answers that phone. You have, I guess, an answering machine that takes care of the 2 a.m.
We have an answering
calls.
service. We don't have a machine. We have a service that answers 24/7.
All right.
Yes.
That's even better.
Yes, because as soon as you leave a message, we're immediately text or paged. Paged is the old word, text now. And we immediately call you right back.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, that's another reason you're people you can trust.
Yes.
You do return phone calls.
Oh, yes. We return phone calls. It might take me a couple hours if I'm in an appointment, but I return them as soon as I can, yes.
Well, what are you expecting this year? With the interest, the Fed did not lower their interest rates,
Right.
and I'm guessing it's going to be another time or two before they do to kind of decide where we are inflation-wise. But even so, we're still busy here.
Oh, yes, we're still busy. People are still moving in. There's people from all other states. The western part of the United States and the Midwest part of the United States is a huge influx. Not as high as it used to be a couple years ago, but there's they're still moving in. Mm-hmm. So, the interest rates they did not lower them, but they're steady. Mm-hmm. And so by spring, a little bit beyond that, you're going to see a little bit of a drop. Hopefully, that's what they're saying. And that will make people go, okay, now, this is where we are. We need to jump on it, and we need to move. We can't wait any longer. So,
well, I can certainly understand the way people feel about this, having almost been spoiled for
That's right.
a good period of time. But if I could have got an interest rate like you can get today, I thought I'd been out of this world.
Exactly.
And that's a long time ago.
And I think that's, too, a lot of the people now are beginning to see, okay, it's going to stay around 6, 7, so we might as well get used to it, and let's move forward with this.
Yeah. All right, 615-443-3130. Medina would appreciate a call.
Yes.
And so would Miss Judy, who's not here today.
She's
and
on special assignment.
The rest of your team, it's not just you two, but you two are the big players.
Yeah. Yeah, anyone in our office can help you, but just give us a call, and we'd be glad to help you and find something for you or coming out and list your home for you.
All right. And remember,
don't make a move without us.
Thank you so much, Medina. See you next time.
Thank you.
Okay, I've told you. Oh, okay. Senator Pody is here.
Hello, Coleman. Good morning. What a great day.
All right. Well,
I got a quick question from Dana, because I hear this term only from this radio station. So many people are on these special assignments. And what does that mean?
That means they're working, but they're not on site here.
That's good enough.
That's right. If you got a phone, you're working.
Thank you, Medina. Right now, 21 before the hour. And Senator Pody, our Friday Senate report on the second half this morning because of the extra time given for the Southern Home and Garden Expo. I think I got the name
Yes.
right. At Wilson Bank does.
And my wife and I are going to go to that today.
Yeah. Well, and they got a special rate for it.
Yes.
Well, the governor, we get right into things here. The governor made his State of the State address Monday night, and that's been talked about, I think, quite a bit since. I don't know what all has happened. I've heard of a few things this week, but once we get this and we find out which direction he's going, it's kind of getting crunch time, and you really get to rolling down there.
That's exactly right. And Coleman, so he did this State of the State. Now, I will tell you, it was a little bit disappointing in some of the crowd that was there. There wasn't many. I'm just going to say about 20 people that were spread out in the gallery, and they kept yelling and interrupting and heckling. And, I thought, at least it would have been respect. If somebody's speaking and I don't agree, I'm not going to heckle. I'm not going to do that. And it was disappointing to hear that going on. So the governor was doing his job and put out the budget. I've got the budget. It's over 300 some pages, so we get to start digging into this. One of the neat things about Tennessee, and I compare it to Washington, D.C. We're looking at Washington, D.C. that is $30+ trillion in debt. And they bring in, $6 to $7 trillion a year. And just think, that is how much debt that they have. Even paying the interest on that alone is going to continue to eat up some of the funds available for all the programs they got to do in the federal government. In Tennessee, we don't have that debt. We stay within our budget. This is kind of a unique year that I want to go through this in a little bit and some of the highlights on our budget after the break. But we can be really proud that we are in Tennessee. Now, one thing that we did do that on the floor that I was really proud of was we stood with Texas. And there was a joint resolution to say in both the House and the Senate. And it was debated pretty intensely for a while. There was one side of the aisle that felt that it was okay to have the immigrants coming across the border, let the federal government handle it. And Texas is just overwhelmed. They cannot take as many of these people coming in. They don't have a place for them to live. They don't have a place. They're literally out of room and what to do. And it's almost a point to, do you just let them sit? What do you do? And they're starting to even ship them across the country. And Texas is saying, help us, stop them from coming in, keep them where they're not coming in. And we just said we're going to stand with Texas. Texas put up some wire and to do things that they could. And we said Texas has the right to defend their border that way if the federal government doesn't do it. Well, it passed, didn't pass unanimously. It was on party line. But we were very proud to say, Texas, we're standing with you. We want to stand for a state that's going to try and keep their own borders.
But it was totally a partisan vote?
Totally partisan.
Well, what kind of argument did the Democrats put up to not vote for that?
Well, there was a few things. We need to be more conscientious of. We're all immigrants and came in, and the point is that when a lot of people came in from Europe, they came through Ellis Island, they did it legally. They did it the right way. And we want here in Tennessee, we want people coming here legally. We want to know who they are and such. But the federal government is taking hundreds of people now putting them in Tennessee. We don't even know who they are. We don't know if they're vented. We don't know if they're criminals. We just don't know. And for the federal government just to say, hey, here's hundreds of people, you all take care of them, that's not right. And they'll say, well, there's an organization that'll help, but we pay. Our taxpayers pay for this.
Well, for years, we pretty much, as far as I know, followed the laws regarding immigration and this sort of thing. And we had so many people who came, I guess it's Ellis Island there in New York, and did it the right way, and so thankful to be here. And however long it took to become a citizen of this country by the way it's supposed to be done. And I think even some of them resent some of these being allowed to come in and just go wherever and know It's chaos.
It is absolutely chaos. And I want immigrants to come here legally. We can use the workforce. We can do some things that way, but you have to follow the rules to get here. And there's a big difference between just saying, oh, we got people here, and saying we've got people that we know here that have done it legally and worked this way. There's bills down there that saying we got to do driver's licenses in English. You know, you can't be driving on a road and be reading on there if you can't read English. We're not going to have our road signs in multiple languages. You should be able to read English to take your driver's test. Right now you don't have to. And I think that these are just reasonable things that we need to do.
All right, we're about time to take a break. But are you hearing quite a bit from your constituents? Are people concerned, up in the air about this?
All right. So, Coleman, like right now, because we're going to be in a tight budget year, we got to define where this money goes. I am one that says, let's take care of our veterans. Let's take care of our retirees. Let's take care of those that need health care, that are Americans and Tennessee citizens first before we give our money away. And when we say we don't have the money to give these increases and to help because we're giving it to places, to people that literally... our school systems, they got to have special people to teach because they can't teach English. They don't know English. So it's costing us so much. I would much rather spend that on Tennesseans right now than just give this money away to people that are just here illegally. And they're angry about it.
All right. We have time for a break. Senator Mark Cody, our Friday Senate report. We'll talk more. We'll get into the governor's budget and his address when we come back on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford and that regular oil change, $39.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's pretty crowded out here now on 24 westbound coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County up through Laverne, Smyrna. It's also picked up with more volume just in the last 15-20 minutes over here in Hermitage and Donaldson on 40 West as you come past Stewart's Ferry Pike all the way up to Donaldson Pike. It's not too bad on 65 southbound and coming through Millersville through that section of Sumner County, but earlier it got a little bit slow up through there. Hey, Prince's Hot Chicken, they've got you covered for the big game coming up this weekend. Check out that menu at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Love is in the air. Would you just love to sell your home, but you don't know what it's worth?
We would love for you to call us and we can preview your home and tell you the current market value.
There is no obligation. We love selling homes,
and we would love to sell yours.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmentoler at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team 443-3130.
1.5 seconds left, no timeouts. Here's your season. Negron gives it to Bird. Bird for the win. It's gone! He did it! College Hoops is back, and so is Cumberland University on the radio. Join me, John Boyce, in the booth for every Mid-South Conference game this regular and postseason for both men's and women's Phoenix basketball. Conference games are every Thursday starting at 5:30 and every Saturday starting at 1 o'clock. Phoenix basketball is right here on 98.9. Cumberland's a winner.
We continue our Friday Senate report, and as we've said several times this morning, on the second half this morning, because the extra time for the bank, and we do that every year. Once a year, you get to be on the second half, Senator.
But Coleman, you know what? I think I get to talk to people that might not listen on the first half. So there's always, because I can't always listen to the whole thing.
Okay, let's get to what the governor had to say.
All right, so I want to go through the budget, and this is our constitutional requirement as state representatives that we got to be down there to pass a balanced budget. So the total recommended budget for the fiscal year 24 to 25 that's coming up is going to be $52.6 billion. Now that breaks down to about $25.4 billion from state and $19.8 billion from the feds, and then we get about $5 billion from fees and things like that, higher education. But the key on this is, Coleman, it is down $9.9 billion from last year. So last year it was over $62 billion. Now we're $52 billion. That is a huge decrease from what we were. And I've been for a long time saying we have to put money away. We have to put money away. Even though we have a little bit of extra money, don't spend it. Don't start new programs. And it's for this very reason that we knew this was going to be coming. I want to put it in perspective, though. if we look at where we were back 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and we seen that growth pattern, and we came to the bubble where the feds were just passing out so much money because of COVID, it put us in a bubble for a couple of years. If we take that bubble away, we're in the same growth pattern.
Okay.
All right, so it's not like, oh, this is dire news. We just had a lot of extra money for the last few years, and now that money's going away. So now we're going to be back to what more would be a normal type budget. It is a tight budget because we're not used to it. We spend a lot of extra money. Now we got to make sure we're paying for it. But some of the things we're doing is, even though we're down, we're still giving education more money. The TISA program, and this is how we define where we're going to give schools money. We're increasing it to over $250 million. We're putting more money in there. This is going to be for teachers' raises, or cost of insurance going up, and so forth. One of the things, though, that is interesting is we accepted money from the federal government, and sometimes we do it like for universal screeners. We say, oh, the federal government's going to pay that, and they did. They helped us get that money started. But now that they're not doing it, are we going to get rid of the screeners because the feds aren't paying for it anymore, or do the state pick it up? Mm-hmm. And so the state's going to have to pick up some of these things that we started. It was nice getting it when it was federal money, but now it's falling back on Tennessee taxpayers that we want that program. We got to pay for it. And it's hard to get rid of a program once you start it.
Absolutely.
So, something else we're doing is the Blue Oval City. We've got to put in another $3 million over that way. I mean, sometimes you start looking at things and costs keep going up, and we thought we knew how much we were going to have to put in that, and that continues to grow. And that's where the Ford plant for the electric vehicles are going. And we gave them about $1 billion to start with. Now they're having to have more. And I'm against that kind of stuff, Coleman. I'm just against giving private companies a lot of type money for this very reason. You start into something, you can't then just pull out. You almost got to say, all right, but are you throwing good money after bad, So that's interesting that's going on. We have done something really good, though, with the TennCare program. And a couple years ago, we had a TennCare Medicaid demonstration waiver. And what that meant is we told the federal government, some of this money you're giving us, if you will just block grant some of this money to us, and if there's any savings, we'll split it. And I'm going to tell you, they agreed to it. In Coleman, both the federal government and the state of Tennessee are winning. We're giving back some of this money to the federal government that we've been able to save, and Tennessee's saving some of that money so we can expand health care here in Tennessee. Another great idea. Let Tennesseans do it, not the federal government. And Coleman, I know I got a lot to go through, but I will tell you something else we're doing is we're growing in Tennessee. We need more state troopers, and we're putting in another 60 positions for our state highway patrol. We're over 7 million people now in Tennessee, and as that goes up, we've got to make sure our law enforcement stays capable of handling whatever they need. Unfortunately, we've needed them more down at the Capitol than we've ever needed them, and that costs a lot of money for all the things that are going on at that point as well. But I think we got a wonderful law enforcement here in Tennessee. We got a great sheriff. We got a great, chief, everybody here in Wilson County. We can be really proud of what we're doing. Something else I want to hit, and I know I'm running really fast, Coleman. I don't want to run out of time, but the rainy day fund.
Yeah.
And I've always said, put money aside for the rainy day fund. Put money aside. And we have. So some of the things that we did, the reserve was $1.8 billion on June 30th, 2023. I mean, we've got money set aside. Right now, with the interest and everything, it's actually over $2 billion as of June 30th, 2024. That's what we're anticipating. Even though our budget is down, even though we don't have as much money coming in, we're still going to be putting another $20 million into our rainy day fund. Things could be worse. We're able to tighten our belts. We're able to do what we need to do. And we want to make sure that if there's ever a huge crisis, we have that money set aside. I wish our federal government would do some of these same type things. They haven't. They've chose not to. But we've done it here in Tennessee.
That is a thick book.
Oh, Coleman, it is. And I know
you're hitting highlights.
I absolutely am. I'm going to take so I want to just share one other quick thing in here. of what we're doing. And this is where our tax dollars actually come from and where we're spending it. And I'm just going to hit the biggest highlights. Okay, so, right now we pay a lot in sales tax. And Coleman, over 60% of our money comes from sales tax. And that means everybody pays their fair share. If we're paying 9%, whether I'm making a very little amount of money or I'm making millions of dollars, we're all paying the same thing when we buy something. So it's equal. It is totally fair. It is the best way that we can be doing it. Nobody's getting a break. Everybody's paying their fair share going forward. The biggest expense that we have, is education. Yeah. So even as a state, I know here in the county, we're talking, it is, again, the largest expense. But if we look at all the bills that we have in Tennessee, over 40-some% of our money is going to education. That means we still got to have our roads, we still got to have law enforcement, we still got to do the infrastructure and everything for Tennessee just to run. But our biggest focus is still making sure we try and do education. There's got to be a point in time, though. I know they're always saying there's more we can do, but we can't keep giving more at the expense of everything else. We've got to take care of our seniors. We've got to take care of those that might have mental health issues. We've got to have prisons. We've got to be able to fund everything else in the state. And unless we raise taxes, there's only so much money to go around. I'm going to give you one more highlight that's really, really important here. We looked at absolutely every increase of every single department Tennessee has. And this is at a time that we are almost $10 billion less money than we've had. Our biggest increase, almost everybody gets zero flat, no money, no more money going in. They got to make do with what they had last year, except education. Education, we're putting in an additional 6% investing in education. Now, people, when they come tell me, well, they got to do more, I am not one that's going to say we can do more at this point. We are doing a huge investment in education.
Okay. You've said a lot this morning, but now the charter schools issue has come up, and that is a hot button thing. And talk about that.
Sure. So, and Coleman, I'm going to tell you, there's three things that I want to unpack just a little bit about education. And one of them is, I want to give a shout out to Lebanon Special School District. Okay, Brian Huddle brought an entire team of his folks down to the Capitol. And I had State Representative Clark Boyd, I had State Representative Susan Lind, we had somebody from Michael Hale's office, we had Chairman of Finance of Education from the House, Gary Hicks. I mean, we had a whole team down there. I had the State Board of Education, I had the Board of Education. We just had a lot of people in a room, and Brian Huddle's team gave a presentation about the fourth grade retention. And we brought some of the information that he had, and this goes across the entire state, to their attention, and saying that we've got some issues going on here, and the state board as well as the Board of Education is going to be rethinking some of the things that we've got to do to fix this on fourth grade retention. Next thing we had is the charter schools. And charter schools are public schools. I don't care if somebody says, well, no, they're not. They are public schools. And typically we can actually educate a child a little bit cheaper in a charter school than we can in a normal public school, even though they're both public schools, they both have the same accountability and so forth. And we're looking at all the records, and we're looking at across the board. And overall, the charter schools are actually outperforming a little bit than some of the normal public schools. So when I'm looking at that charter school system, it seems to be working. Now, there's always going to be somebody saying, well, this one charter school isn't doing as well. I get that. But overall, they are performing. We're looking at the data. Now, the next thing, though, the biggest thing that's coming this year is something called the voucher program. Yeah. And the voucher is going to be, it's highly contested right now. But as of today, I have not actually seen the final amendment that we're even talking about. So people, I've got resolutions from across the state saying, we don't like it. And I call them, what part don't you like? And they haven't seen it either. I've not seen the bill. It's hard to say I'm against something or for something until we actually read the bill. I've heard some things that are in there. I've heard some things that might not be. And
how long before you're going to know?
I thought we should have known 2 weeks ago. I was hoping we would have known a month ago. But I'm going to anticipate, maybe not this coming week, but the following week is when we're going to draft it. There's a lot of things that are out there and saying, here's a possible amendment, here's a possible, let's look at that. But we have not seen what it actually is yet.
How much depends on the success or the failure of this?
So I think they got the votes to probably move something forward. But it is not going to be as robust as what I think the governor had hoped for. So, we're going to be looking at this going forward to see what it might do. We've got several counties like Davidson County, Shelby County, Hamilton County are already involved in these already. And it's just going to be how much more are we going to expand it and where does that funding come from? Now, the budget the governor has actually set money aside to handle this at this point. So it's not even from education, it's from different funding sources. So if somebody said, well, it's taking money from public education, it's not. This is separate sources at this point just to see what's going to happen. So we got to wait and see what that language looks like.
We got 30 seconds. Anything really big coming up this week?
Well, I did do one bill that passed to be on the floor, and it's going to say that if you go to the hospital, that Coleman, if I'm going to give my wife an example, if she goes to the hospital, I have the right to see her at least once a day if I'm power of attorney. They can't stop me from seeing my wife.
Okay. Well, we got to stop right here. Thanks for being with us. You'll be on to regular time next week, and we'll see what you have to say at that time. Senator Mark Pody, our Friday Senate report. And that's going to do it. Have a nice weekend, everybody. Till Monday, I wish you a fantastic day.